What is going on, all you faithful gamers out here? This is your boy Blakey the Kid, and of course we are back with another Faithful Gaming video. Now in this installment of Faithful Gaming video, I want to just do something different in light of, King of Fighters or SNK releasing Yashiro Nanakasi for the last DLC. I figured I was actually thinking about doing like a top 10 wish list for characters I'm hoping to see in King of Fighters 15, which I believe it'll be not only just doable, but these are just characters that I would like to see. It would actually make sense in the storyline, and yeah, man, I think that they would be good additions to the cast. So without further ado, I'm gonna just go ahead and get started. So my first pick might sound kind of weird, but when you hear me out, it'll make sense. So number 10, this is my top 10 list. So number 10, I would really like to see Hon Fu. Most of you guys who might not know who Hon Fu is, he is actually a character from Real Bout Fatal Fury Special, and of course he was in Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, and he was in Real Bout Fatal Fury, and I believe he was in Fatal. No, he wasn't in Fatal Fury 3, but either which way, if you guys are not familiar with him, he was like a police officer or whatever. He was actually tasked to take down Yamazaki, or basically arrest him, if you will. And seeing as how Yamazaki was in King of Fighters 14, I figured it would be, it would be about time to see him. Now, of course, I know I'm hoping for too much right here, but I believe it would make sense. Yamazaki's still around. He's still an outlaw. He's still breaking the law. Hon Fu would actually make sense. It would actually make sense for him to come back. Not only that, but maybe even change things on as well, but that's neither here nor there. Now my next one is Takuma Sakazaki, who is Ryo Sakazaki's father, and Yuri Sakazaki's father, and also Robert Garcia's master as well. Takuma is the one who taught them all the Kyokujin Ryu karate. Now I don't really have an explanation as to why I think Takuma should be in here, but at the same time, I just want him in here. It would just be real good to see him in this rendition of King of Fighters. Normally Takuma is hit or miss. He's not necessarily in every King of Fighters game. He'll like skip a couple here and there, but he comes back every now and again. Of course, storyline wise, he's old. He's not necessarily decrepit, but he normally gets injured a lot or whatever, or he's like too tired. And I know in King of Fighters 13, he actually opened up his own restaurant. So the reason why he wasn't in King of Fighters 14 was because he was focusing on his own restaurant, video game lore. But yeah, I would like to see him in King of Fighters 15, since they're kind of doing different things with the game. I'd like to see him, how he would fare in that. Maybe he might not be a part of the initial cast, but maybe it'll be DLC along the line. I know he could also come back as Mr. Karate, which is like his alter ego or whatever. It's not like a evil form or whatever. It's just a different version of Takuma, if you will. Number 8. Now this might sound weird. You guys might be like, what? Like, why would they bring these people back or whatever? But believe it or not, I would like to see the clone Kyos. Now you guys might be thinking, well, no, they deactivated all of the clones and stuff like that. So all of the Nest clones and stuff like that have been deactivated. They're dead, if you will. They shouldn't come back. And I know most of you guys are probably thinking, oh, you thinking just because Verse brought back everybody who was dead and stuff like that, you think they're gonna bring back the clones? Like, come on. Nah, not necessarily. Like, if you watch my last video, I mentioned there was a manga of King of Fighters 14, and in the manga you would realize that Nest is still active, and not only is Nest still active, but they also showed clone Kyos and stuff like that. And then also they showed like one who was like actually like kind of not necessarily in charge of Nest at the moment, but kind of like the one that's going out and doing the Nest activities, if you will, was a clone of Kyo at the end of the day. So if they stay true to the manga, I would like to see the clones come back. Simply because, of course Kyo's in, but what the clones did was they just simply gave you different versions of Kyo to play with. If you like the record Kyo, then you had clone 1 or the normal clone. Not only that, but you would also see the fireball Kyo, like the Kyo that actually shot a fireball and stuff like that. The basically 94 and 95 Kyo, if you will. Some people still like playing with that, and with the clones, it gave you that way, if you will, to play with them. And not only would I think it would make sense for them to come back, but also for my next number 7, it would make perfect sense for them to come back if this person comes back, and that is Nameless. Yes, Nameless in King of Fighters 2002 Unlimited match. I highly doubt that SNK is just gonna make a character like that for King of Fighters 2002 Unlimited match and not actually do something with him. I think they're actually gonna try to do something with him, and I think bringing him back in King of Fighters 15 would be a awesome way to actually put him into King of Fighters lore, because a lot of you guys know, King of Fighters 2002 Unlimited match is not a canon game. It's just like a game. It's not a part of canon. It doesn't have a real storyline or anything like that. It's just kind of like there, but it's just like a game to play, if you will. But to go forward with King of Fighters storyline and lore, I do believe that SNK would still want to do something with Nameless, because he was a real good character to play with in King of Fighters 2002. Not only that, but he was a real cool design, and so it would just be a waste to only see him in King of Fighters 2002 Unlimited match, and then for them not to do anything with them at all. Like, it would be a waste. But yeah, now this next rendition is going to come from the Garo Mark of the Wolves cast. And the reason why I'm even pulling from this cast is because at the end of the day, Rock Howard was in King of Fighters 14, so it also paved the way for other Garo Mark of the Wolves characters to come in. And one character in particular that I think is dying to make a comeback is Hokutamaru. And the reason why I say that is because Andy and Mai actually played a role in training him. And so I really think like Hokutamaru, he would really be past due to come into a King of Fighters game, because of course, if you guys are familiar with the other King of Fighters games like King of Fighters 2003 and King of Fighters 11, you had Tizoc and B. Jeanette and Gato came back as well from the Mark of the Wolves storyline. They came over, they crossed over to King of Fighters. And so if they did it, I really believe it would make perfect sense for Hokutamaru to do it as well, because I believe he's not necessarily a vital character from Mark of the Wolves, but like it would still make sense because Andy and Mai trained him, and it would be advantageous for him to come back as well. So yeah, I'm hoping to see Hokutamaru make it back. Number 5. Now this is my top 5 characters like I really want to see make a comeback in King of Fighters. And number 5, he is way past due. My number 5 character is Shingo. Shingo is basically, in a nutshell, Kyo Kusanagi's disciple. Like, he basically taught Shingo how to fight, taught him his way of fighting and stuff like that. And if you guys are familiar with King of Fighters 2003 canon, Shingo actually declared himself to be a rival to Kyo now. Not necessarily a disciple anymore, but he declared himself to be a rival. And of course, in King of Fighters 11, he made a return and got injured by the Riot of the Blood, Iori. And then of course in King of Fighters 13, he was still recovering. But Chizuru was recovering as well, and that's why we haven't seen her make a comeback yet. But obviously she was fully healed. We saw her like fully stable and fully powered in King of Fighters 14. And I know that maybe Shingo was probably still healing at the time. But I think it's definitely time for Shingo to come back. He was I wouldn't necessarily say he was a fan favorite, but he was a favorite of mine. Excuse me. He was definitely a favorite. He was a fun character to play with, man, and I would really love to see him make a comeback in King of Fighters 15. And of course it would still make sense for him to come back at King of Fighters 15. And now this isn't really a character that I would want to see come back. If he does come back, it would be cool. But I think Shingo could come back with Jun Hoon, who originally debuted in King of Fighters 99, and Jun Hoon is a rival of Kim, and so I believe Jun Hoon and Shingo Yabuki could come back as maybe like team rivals or something like that, to just rival Kyo and Kim and stuff like that. But and then they could like just form a third person. I think Hokutamaru would actually be a good rendition of Shingo and Jun Hoon's team. Like, I believe that would be a team that makes sense. Let me know if you agree in the comments. Now number 4, like this, honestly, it wouldn't really make sense for him to come back, but at the same time, I really want this character to come back, and that's Duck King. Duck King actually made his first appearance in the King of Fighters game. Well, I mean, obviously, technically, if you want to get technical, he made his first appearance in King of Fighters 2000 as an extra striker, but he was actually a playable character in King of Fighters 11, and the way that they made him, it was real clean. It was real cool to play with him in King of Fighters 11. He's a fun character to play with. And yeah, man, I really liked him. I mean, I like Duck King in the Fatal Fury games and stuff like that. He's a real cool character, and you know what I'm saying, he kind of plays a rival, if you will, to Terry Bogard. He kind of likes to rival himself with. It's a friendly rivalry or whatever, because Terry Bogard like kind of beat him, and so like it's a friendly rivalry. But it would still be cool to see Duck King come back. I mean, like he could even come back with Shingo and Jun, like I mentioned, with like team rivals or something like that. But I think it would be time to bring back Duck King. He was a cool character to play with, and he was a cool rendition to the King of Fighters cast as well. With that being said, here goes my top 3. Now my number 3 would have to be Chonrei. Jin Chonrei. Now it would definitely make sense for Chonrei to come back, because if you guys are familiar with King of Fighters 14's ending with Shunei, Tung kind of is looking over and kind of like discerning what's going to happen later on, discerning the things to come. And so he basically says, I'm a little bit too old to be active, so I'm trying to leave the work off to my disciples. And if you guys are familiar, or his students, if you will, and if you guys are familiar, Jin Chonrei made an appearance as one of Kung Fu Ru's disciples or students, and so it would definitely make sense for Chonrei to come back and to be a part of King of Fighters and stuff like that. I think he would make a cool rendition. I think it would make sense for him to be in this game simply because Tung would want him to. Not necessarily just leave things up to Shunei, because the way things are looking, it seems like Shunei's power might not necessarily go out of control, but maybe it might play like a major role to where, like, even though he's a good guy, his power is like kind of dark, it's kind of evil, and so he might like not necessarily turn, but his power might go out of control and unleash something that he can't control and stuff like that, and like basically his power might consume him or something like that. And because of that, I believe Chonrei would make a good rendition to come in to assist Tung in helping a fellow disciple or whatever. It would definitely make sense for Chonrei to make an appearance in this. Now number two, I mentioned this earlier, coming back from the Guard Mark of the Wolves cast again, and that would be Tizoc. Yes, Tizoc. No, not King of Dinosaurs. I hated that rendition of Tizoc. That rendition of Tizoc was trash. It worked because King of Fighters 14 was trash, but I really did not like the whole King of Dinosaurs rendition of Tizoc. Like, I think it was like real cheesy and stupid. But I really enjoyed Tizoc. Like, Tizoc was a fun character to play, especially in King of Fighters 11. He was a real cool character to play with. And like again, I mentioned in the manga as well, because in King of Fighters New Beginning manga, you see that Clark actually, he doesn't like, he loses to Tizoc, but he loses to Tizoc out of respect, because he really respected Tizoc. And when he saw him try to be like this evil character and saw him in his like little King of Dinosaurs outfit, he really wanted Tizoc to come back. And so he knocked Tizoc's mask off, the King of Dinosaurs mask off, and revealed that, you know, of course it was Tizoc under there. And then he spoke to him and was like, yo, I really respected you as Tizoc, and I want, and you not only that, but you're letting your fans down with this persona. And then basically you know, Tizoc kind of like got, you know, teary-eyed and stuff like that, and so he made a declaration to, you know, not to let the fans down, and to you know, come back as Tizoc. So I would really want Tizoc to come back. I really want Tizoc. I would really want to see Tizoc in this game, man, because, you know, of course he was already in King of Fighters 14, but please, 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 Kara, please, SNK, bring back Tizoc. No more King of Dinosaurs. We do not need that. He was a waste. Honestly, he was a wasted character. Now, last but not least, my number one pick. Now, I say that this is my number one pick, but I'm very skeptical. I'm very skeptical of what they're going to do with this character, because they did well with him thus far, but I'm very skeptical that they're going to bring him back. He is one of my favorite characters to play with, especially in King of Fighters 11. But I think they're going to do a bad job. I'm very skeptical, and I'm scared that they're going to do a bad job with him. But this is still my number one pick. My number one pick that I would want to see in King of Fighters 15 is Gato Futaba. I really want to see Gato come back. I really love playing with him. Like I said, in King of Fighters 11, I believe they did a real good job with him in King of Fighters 11, and also in King of Fighters 2003 as well. I think he would be a good rendition, especially if they're going to bring back, they could, you know, bring back Team Garo with Tizoc. He could team back up with Tizoc as well in King of Fighters 15, because he was on Tizoc's team in King of Fighters 11. So I think that would make sense. And maybe even bring back B. Jeanette. Like, I wouldn't even hate if they brought back B. Jeanette. But, you know, B. Jeanette was a cool designer with her. You know, I didn't play with her. I mean, I only didn't play with her because my brother played with her. And, you know, in our household, we didn't like doppelganging. Like, if you played with a character, that was your character. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how we did things. You know, another thing for me would also be, this is like an honorable mention, because I know that they're going to bring this character back. He's always, I'm not going to say always in King of Fighters, because he wasn't in King of Fighters 2003 with this particular team. But I know they're going to bring him back. But there's a specific rendition of this character that I will want, and that is Kensu. I want Kensu to come back, but I don't want the Kensu in King of Fighters 14. I want King of Fighters 13 Kensu. I think that Kensu was way better. At least for me, I like the records that they gave him. I would just want them to give him his move. I would want him to keep, maybe not make him exactly like King of Fighters 13, but if they would just at least give him his records, like his little record punches and stuff like that, then I would be okay with that. But I don't like, and this is what where a lot of I guess you could say downplay came from with King of Fighters 14. Those you know, who are hardcore King of Fighters fans who have played that game, like with King of Fighters 13, like they did a good step forward with a lot of the characters, but then when King of Fighters 14 came out, it's like it made like a small step back, and they went backwards with Kensu, and they made a small step back with some of the characters, and of course they did that with Kensu. And like really honestly, man, I think his King of Fighters 13 rendition is actually his best rendition. And if they would bring him back, you know, I would really appreciate that. I would really appreciate that, SNK, at the end of the day. Like you know, he wasn't on my list because I know he's gonna come back. I just want a specific rendition of this character to come back, and that's King of Fighters 13. And you know, speaking of King of Fighters 13, Claw Iori. You know, these are like honorable mentions because of course Iori's in the game, but I would just like to see Claw Iori, like maybe as DLC or something like that, or maybe they'll give Iori some of his claw form no special moves or something like that. I'm not sure. Of course, the game is still in development and things of that nature, but you know, these are just things I would like to see. But yeah, man, it's my top 10 list with, of course, with honorable mentions. Let me know in the comment section below which characters you would like to come back, characters you would like to see, and you know, we could dialogue about it in the comment section, man. We can talk about it and stuff like that. But yeah, this is Blakey the Kid with yet another video with Faithful Gaming Videos, aka the Gospel Gamer, reminding you guys to stay faithful.